Welcome to Write That Down, a Probetus podcast. I'm your host, Matt Fisher. To my left, as usual, is Philip Irwin.
Hello.
And across from me, Mark Jensen. What was that?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know either.
And then to my right is the wonderful Chrissy Lund.
Hello.
Hello, hello. How are we doing today, everybody?
Good. I've got a full belly, so I'm going to sleep this episode. You guys can handle it.
Awesome. Okay. Paul, do you have like a couch or something? Or
I had a cot, but my wife made me take it out of here.
no?
Usually it's the other way around, right? It's like send you to the cot.
All right. So why are you full?
We had lunch at the office a little bit ago.
Yeah.
Some classic ground round, and I was Clean Plate Club. I took care of it.
I'm glad you brought up Clean Plate Club. So growing up, was that ever anything that any of you ever heard about, or Clean Plate Club was even words you knew?
Yes.
Okay.
It's like something an uncle says.
Mine was
Clean Plate
grandpa-ish,
Club.
but what about you, Chrissy?
I remember sitting at the dinner table. My dad had said, 3 bites. Just take 3 bites. And I would sit there till bedtime.
But
Oh, my.
Now, did you ever make the Clean Plate Club? Like,
Probably not.
okay.
I'd
bet-
have to ask my parents.
Now that you have kids, I bet you regret that.
I don't know. They don't eat anything.
I feel like, for me, a Clean Plate Club. My mom grew up on the farm out in western North Dakota in Powers Lake, and Grandpa Dan was always plate was clean because he had bread with every meal. So whatever was left on there, whatever sauce, whatever little bits were left, he'd take that bread and
That was the
Mop it up.
dessert. That was dessert.
Yeah,
Bread
yeah.
and gravy. Like when
Exactly.
you have the roast, it's like, if you didn't have dessert, it was like gravy and bread. That was dessert.
Now I'm hungry again.
I'm clearly
Thanks,
a
guys.
picky eater.
hey, we
I
don't
don't eat
need that
like that.
cot anymore, Paul. Phil's back.
I'm back.
But I will say the Clean Plate Club goes, my in-laws, the Grandpa Dallas, I was at the lake one time and I ate like all the food on my plate and he looked at me like, all right, you're all right. Clean plate. I like that. So to all you out there who are courting either a young man or a young woman, clean your plate. Okay.
Eat it all.
Yeah. But yeah, one of our good supplier rep friends came in and it was Sanmar. So Sanmar, for those you don't know, is a clothing company that we rep, and Nike and North Face and a few other name brands with some of their in-house brands. And the best part is we had a model. Whenever we have a rep come in, somebody likes to jump up and model, and that somebody is one Mark Jensen.
Actor, dancer, model right here.
Yep.
Triple threat.
He is a triple threat. So, what was some of the good stuff that you put on today? What would you like to talk about when it comes to your modeling today, or is that something as the talent you don't really like to talk about the stuff?
Well, a lot of times I can't talk a lot about it because my agent doesn't allow, I sign a contract. And two, kind of when you're a professional model like me, there's sometimes, you might not like the clothing, but you put that smile on and walk that runway.
I mean,
You're getting paid big bucks.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
When you look this good, I tell you.
Can you talk about your first
It's getting
modeling
deep in here.
experience?
Oh, my first modeling experience? Well, for print modeling would have probably been when I was the Bridgman ice cream model. I think we talked about that before. I think we have.
I don't know if
We have.
Yep,
He
we
briefly
have.
mentioned it a couple
Shocking.
weeks ago.
And then I also modeled in the fashion shows in Park River.
Okay.
For like the Johnson store. And then I modeled in Grafton at their stores. I think I actually was even one or two in Columbia Mall, if I remember right.
Wow.
Done some modeling there. And I tell you,
Park
what a life.
River to Milan.
Yeah, here I am.
What kind of ice cream was in the Bridgman ad?
It was, I think it was just a big tub of vanilla, if I remember
Okay.
right. With
Hold
the big
up.
bell.
Did they pay you an ice cream?
I can't disclose that.
How-
OMG.
how
I want
old-
a job like that.
Because that was a child modeling gig, right?
Yeah. Yep. I was
So
probably
do
like
we
7
need
years
to-
old.
Do
Okay.
we need to call your mom?
Yep. I was probably like 7 years old.
That's the agent. We've nailed it down. Shout out to Mama.
So, yep. So, like I said, a little bit of a career.
I like it.
I can tap dance too, so.
All right.
And river dance.
Oh, I want to see that.
That's we'll save that for another episode.
Do you guys remember the name of the king of Riverdance? The fastest feet, remember? Trivia
Yep.
for you.
Flatley.
Michael
Oh,
Flatley.
yes.
Yep.
Good. Mark
did
had that.
Did they come to the Chester Fritz once upon a time?
Yes, they did.
Yep. I
Was
was
it
there.
him or was it just
It was
people
Riverdance.
associated with his
I don't know. I went.
show?
I think he might have been here. Too.
That's awesome.
Yeah, because I want to say it was the late 80s, 90s, right?
90s.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah, because I went on tour with them. Probably it was around like 1997.
That was you I saw on
Yeah,
stage.
I did a tour in the States here, and I also did a European tour with them.
And that says something because if you're going to Ireland, I mean, you gotta be on. They
What-
can.
He said
they can-
European. He didn't say Ireland.
Oh,
What's
okay.
awesome about Mark's stories is that like the casual listener is gonna think that it's all made up, but like 90% of what he's saying is 100% true. 90% is 100.
60% of the time, it works all the time.
I'm sorry.
Yep.
I fed you that joke.
Yeah, that's good. I like it. All right, well let's hop into the question or the quote for the day. It isn't a question this time; it is a quote. So I'm gonna say this really deep quote, and then we're gonna hop over to Phil and see if he has any idea why or where I would have said something like this. So this one is a little thought provoking. So I would say, you've got to get outside your comfort zone and stay out there until it gets comfortable. Comfortable.
Comfortable.
Wow, I
Why-
hate when you say words and
Yeah.
you're like, comfort.
You might as well be lazy. Don't add an extra syllable if it's
Comfortable,
not
right?
necessitary. Sorry.
Comfortable. Comfortable, right? Not comfortable.
My mother-in-law says comfortable,
Okay.
and I say comfortable. Shorten it.
Okay.
Some say
This
potato, some say
conversation
potato.
is uncomfortable.
As Matt Fisher would say, I'm at 110%.
All right. Yeah. we're all uncomfortable right now. All right. So Phil, what would possibly have been going on in your life or any of our lives where this little gem would have come out?
This is page 1.5 of the quote, so it still would have been within year 1 of my time at Probetus. So this is early on, and you probably were asking me to do something that I was not comfortable with. Where's HR right now?
Yeah.
But in regards to prospecting a client, I'm sure, and so you dropped this nugget of info. But I do remember, I think after you said the quote about getting out of your comfort zone, stay there until it gets comfortable. I think you started going into some sports analogies too, because it probably would have been this time of year when you were getting into coaching for the throwing season, that sort of thing. But I remember it having a sports pull to what you were talking about.
Okay. I could see that. And I feel like I do kind of intermingle the throwing and the coaching with some stuff I do at work. Some days I wake up and I just don't know where I am, and then I just start talking, and then every once in a while I say, write that down, and then Phil writes it down. But I mean, I do believe there's a little bit of something to be said with this one where like I think if you just stay comfortable, you just kind of go along to get along, and you don't really get anywhere, right? So what do you guys think about that? What are your thoughts?
Well, are you looking for an example of time or?
Well, I mean, just general thoughts or an example. I mean,
Well, I think for me, probably it was when I decided to be a professional bodybuilder, and I had to walk on the stage in the little G-string bikini. So I was very uncomfortable, but I got in my comfort zone. Is that an
What-
example? Chrissy, why?
what part was comfortable?
Chrissy,
Uncomfortable? Was
Chrissy.
it the G-string or was it?
Chrissy, you're sitting there and you had your eyes like, were you like envisioning?
Yes,
that?
there was a visual that I will now have nightmares about. Sorry, Mark.
So that didn't happen, did it?
Time will
TBD.
tell.
Yeah, we got to get the fact checkers on this one.
I'll jump in to save this.
Hey, thank you.
So when you think about, I can't even do it. When you think
No,
about,
literally nobody
so-
can look at Mark right
do-
now. We're all just kind of like,
so you do
averting
something
our
out of your
eyes.
comfort zone. The quote talks about if you stay out of your comfort zone long enough, it becomes comfortable. And so I'll use a specific example. So I've been a musician for a long time. And for most people, whether it's public speaking or being on stage, some sort of performance recital setting, that's uncomfortable because the focus is entirely on you. You're not background music, and you're required to perform. Like that's the whole thing. And the first couple times, it can be really intimidating. But over the years, like I have an extreme comfort being in front of large crowds now. It doesn't even matter the size because you get to this certain level. I remember we were playing at like a music festival in South Dakota, and there was a grandstand, like a legit grandstand. And granted, like not all those people I'm sure were there to see me. I can guarantee it, but they're there. You know, the speakers are pointed at them. The video screens and everything are on you, and you're like, holy cow! I can't even count the number of people that are watching right now. And at that point, like when you cease being able to count how many people are there, it doesn't matter. It's like this could be one person, it could be 10,000. You just have to keep doing what you're going to do. And but it was all practice. You just had to keep getting out there over and over again. And there's some mental gymnastics I can get into later, but
Yeah. So going back to thank you for that, and that's a good example of like that presentation and putting on a show. Now going back to Mark, when you first started with that, bodybuilding is what you called it?
Yeah, bodybuilding.
Did you have that same experience?
Well, I just, because I'm a very shy person, so trying to get out of my comfort zone, I'm
Shy.
very shy, and I've always been very shy in my life, I like to just kind of hide and not be.
Well, I'm gonna ask you, how was it? What was it like the first time?
I tell you, it was the energy rush.
Okay, I mean that's a good point. So like
I flexed and the crowd went wild, I tell you,
Oh my goodness.
how many people were there?
I'd probably say
it just you in the mirror?
9,858 and a half.
There was a half a person.
Yeah.
All right, I gotta.
Oh, but you know what I
I
did
was gonna
remember?
get away from this, but let's just keep watching.
I just
this
had a
train
flashback.
crash.
I've got to tell
no.
you, if you remember our last episode when we were talking about flip-flops
Yes.
and winter, guess what I saw last week?
Flip flops.
I was coming to work in the morning, and a gentleman was walking on the sidewalk. He had a stocking cap on, a winter coat, chopper mitts, sweatpants, and Birkenstocks with no socks. So
It's a very confusing time of year.
we're all having identity
I don't know why I
crises.
just had to have that thought came into my mind. I was going to tell you guys, and I just remembered.
It's a very, yes.
So now on to what else you want to know about me?
Wait, I have something to say.
Well, we gotta go to Chrissy next. I don't even know if we can dig any more into this fictional story. Okay, it is fictional. Actually now I'm at the point right now, like Phil said, I'm at like 60%, where it might be real. But how about you, Chrissy? What's something that you have stepped out into the world and it was uncomfortable, but now it's not?
Well, I will tell you that I don't feel like I get too uncomfortable around people, but I get uncomfortable in places that I don't know. So like
Please elaborate.
the perfect vacation for me is a place I've been.
Oh, okay.
Because it's familiar. I know where to go. I know what to do. I get a lot of anxiety going somewhere I've never been before.
Okay, can I ask? So on that, when you have it's just curious. So like, are you okay? Like if you're with other people, or are you still anxious? Because it's interesting. Like you said, you're not uncomfortable in front of people.
Yeah.
But yeah, because I've heard of people kind
Yeah.
of being like that. So
Like the anxiety comes in like having to go through an airport I've never been through before. But if I've been through the airport and I know what I'm doing, then I'm comfortable. If I'm going on vacation somewhere and I've never been there and I don't know what to do, and then I'm uncomfortable. But if I've like Vegas, I'm like, oh, I've got this, although it changes every time. So that gets a little uncomfortable. But for me, it's new experiences.
Sure. And specifically places.
Places.
Like, yeah.
That's
Okay.
for me, places.
I'm absolutely with you, Chrissy, because I hate like vacations in the sense that it's new. And I don't know, where the places
It's
are
hard
that
to
are good to go, hard to go, that sort of thing. And so I like the familiarity, which is why I stay home a lot.
Everyone makes fun of me because I refuse to go on a cruise. Everyone wants to go on a cruise. I refuse to go on a cruise for multiple reasons. But one of them is when you stop in port and you get off the ship, I would have so much anxiety, like having to get back on the ship.
Yeah,
at a
that's when
certain
the
time.
kidnappings happen.
I would never relax.
There's good reason
It's
to be.
true. It's true.
Kidnappings. All right.
Put that
so,
on the list.
Our producer Paul came to the microphone, which
He's got
he
something to say.
rarely does. So we've got no video on Paul, I don't believe. So he's just the voice in the back. But what do you thinking about, Paul? And I asked this in the most
Don't ruin our show.
excited way possible.
Well, if you guys want a good laugh,
Well,
because you're talking about
we
you know
like a
things
good
that are uncomfortable. So I did have a stint modeling for a little bit when you were talking about that, and at one point I had no idea what I was doing, and so we had to do a runway type of show, and it was modeling underwear. And because I didn't know what I was doing, I was ass to ankles, hairy legs, and I'm pretty sure I was the only one up there. So I thought,
Say those words again. I didn't.
Do not say those words again.
Okay. I honestly I didn't hear with my good ear, and
Do you want me to write it down for you, Matt?
yeah. Okay. Thank you, Paul, for that. I'm gonna have to re-listen to this because I did not hear what he said, but I was told by all three of you, do not have him say that again. So.
So now the visual I have.
Oh, brother.
Oh man, why does everybody have a modeling gig except for me?
I've never modeled.
Oh wait, I don't look good.
Oh,
Oh,
Phil.
and now I know. Now
Okay.
I know
you
why.
have a face made for radio.
Hey, you know what?
For
At-
podcasts.
going back to where we were at, we had our rep come in, Chris, great guy, showed the clothing. Phil put on some clothing too when Mark had like a stack of 7 and couldn't, put them on fast enough. Phil put a few on and he came out of the bathroom and the 2 of the ladies in the group, it was like yeah. So I would say that should have given you some confidence.
Yeah,
Coming into today, you are a very stunning man.
Thank you. I forgot about
Especially
that.
when you wear the item number blah 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 from Sanmar.
Yeah.
Call probeatuspromo.com and we'll make you
It
look
was a
great.
nice shirt. I did feel good about myself wearing it.
It was you, Phil.
Thank you.
It looked nice.
Thanks.
I
you go.
agree.
Okay. So now that we've boosted Phil's just his general morale, I feel a lot better. And I feel a lot better that I didn't hear what Paul said. So I feel like, thank you all for giving those, stories and experiences of what you did outside your comfort zone and then got more comfortable. So that's something that we could say is like, once you do it, you do get more comfortable. So like, Chrissy, when you go to a place you've been before,
Yes.
it's a better experience, right?
It is.
Yeah.
Because I'm more comfortable. I'm relaxed.
Exactly. And like Phil said, like he can get up on a stage and rock in front of 50,000 people, no big deal. First time he did it,
Yeah, if
wasn't
you can
that
set
way.
that up, that'd be great.
Yeah,
It's
I'm
been a
not-
few years.
I want to try that.
But would you be uncomfortable? Not well. If it was a place you've never been, you'd be uncomfortable.
It'd be full on A Star Is Born.
Okay. I'm asking like I want to find this out about you. So let's say it's a place you've been before,
Okay.
but you're performing in front of a whole bunch of people for the first time. Is that uncomfortable for you, even though it's a place you've been before?
Depends on what I'm performing.
Well,
Like, am I singing?
Well,
Am
what? Yeah, I mean, I hope it's something that you have a talent in.
Okay,
It's
well,
not-
if I'm talented and I know I'm talented,
What are you talented in that you would perform in front of a bunch of people?
I don't know. The kids think I can sing.
Okay, so she can sing. She feels good about singing. It's at the Minneapolis airport
Oh, hey,
because she's
I've been there.
before. So, how do you feel? Are you uncomfortable or are you good with that?
I'm scared, but I'm going to do it. I'm going to rock that airport stage.
All right, I like some of these words. Okay, so I'm going to pull some words out. Chrissy said scared and anxious. Mark said exhilarated. So, you go into it, but, you do it and you're exhilarated. I think
Adventurous.
Phil was, I think you talked a little bit about that anxiety, that sort of thing too the first time, right?
Yeah.
So then it goes away after a while, right? To a certain extent. I mean, there's some things you always get a little bit of butterflies or a little bit nervous, excited, exhilarated, scared, whatever for, but, it fades. So
I used to have genuine anxiety like before shows. I would vomit before every single show.
Yet
just
you
like,
still did it.
just like, yeah, I was way thinner then. Actually, some of my friends thought I had a problem. I remember one good friend came up to me after I had gotten that situation taken care of medically. And they're like, you're a little bit bigger and I think you look more well. And I'm like, thank you.
So besides, I mean, like usual, we've gone off the rails. So besides, talking about being comfortable and growing and that sort of thing, we are talking about Phil's body weight mainly
Yeah.
today,
Poor Phil.
and his looks and everything.
Yeah. Thank you.
And he just ate a full dinner.
Yeah. Speaking of vomiting, I clean plate club it. Like I I got married, Grandpa Dallas, like, I'm glad you're happy, but I'm still clean plating it, and I don't know why. Probably because my parents told me that if I didn't eat, then the poor children in Africa would starve. How many of you
Yes.
got that one?
Yeah, you're being a good steward of the food that's been placed on your plate.
Yes.
But-
We are the world.
Yeah,
Starving
but I mean,
children
did you
in this world.
did you guys ever get that? I mean,
Yes.
mine was strict Catholic guilt. It was like, if you don't finish your food, the kids will starve because of that.
I don't remember if my parents ever laid that one on me, but my husband certainly does that to my kids.
Okay,
I think I tell the kids that they're throwing my money in the garbage.
That
which
too.
I probably
Oh.
shouldn't say those sorts of things,
Food
but
costs money.
that is how I feel.
yeah. How about you, Mark?
Well, I just think it's different time. You know, like when I was growing up, it's like what mom made for dinner, that's what you had. You know what I mean? So like you would clean up, but it's not like, you know, I know like friends and stuff like they'll say, oh, you know what, we had dinner and we made this for Johnny, Sally got this, you know what? The only time we got something different for the most part was like if it was liver and onions. Not the whole family
Oh,
ate
yeah.
that, you know, so mom would make something
You
else.
gotta pass
But
for-
typically, you know what, it's like if that's what mom made, that's what you know, you didn't really go and say, oh, I don't want that. You know, we weren't like a full service restaurant.
Sure. Yeah,
But, you know, but
your
a
mother
great
was
growing up,
not
you
a
know.
short order cook,
Right, you know.
and there were no air fryers.
But we just too. We kind of ate everything on the plate. You don't know what's. If I remember right, a lot of times it's like don't overtake. You know,
Yes.
because then you can
Yeah.
go back for more. So you weren't wasting. You know, we were because it's kind of like too. You know, if we had, let's say, a roaster steak, you know, you'd almost like I don't want to say like recycle, but you'd use it the next day. You know what? Mom would maybe make like hamburger hash out of it or whatever. You know, in the grinder.
Yeah.
You know, so because you just didn't throw stuff away.
Speaking of air fryers,
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Totally.
we have been hoodwinked with air fryers.
Is this a conspiracy?
No, we need to bring Katie on the show before
No.
we talk about this.
Okay, no. I love air fryers. I have had like 3. I'm eyeballing my 4th one. Walmart's got it on sale.
And
But
keep in mind, this is not because she has 4 of them at once. She
I use
she
them to
uses
death.
to beyond
I-
their capacity.
then I buy a bigger one.
Sure.
So when an air fryer breaks, does it fry?
Haha. That was bad.
was that a dad
That
joke?
was a
Yes,
dad
it
joke.
was.
I didn't even get it.
OMG.
You're welcome.
But my hearing is obviously not
Okay,
good
hold
today.
on.
So
Air fryers are really just convection ovens. That's all it is.
yeah.
Yeah.
And we've all had convection ovens in our houses
Well,
before
giant
air fryers.
giant convection ovens like
Yes,
that cost a
but
lot of
it's the
money, but
same
it's
thing.
yeah. So you're saying this is like a Fingal's Einhorn is Fingal's
No,
situation?
it's kind of like when Under Armour rebranded
It's
spandex.
rebranding.
They came out with spandex again and said, you can wear this if you're a soldier. And then everybody was like, you're right, I can.
Athleisure.
This is so cool.
You're all soldiers now.
It's like,
Wear
oh,
Under
good.
Armour.
We had all this spandex left over from aerobics videos. We really need to get this to
That's
market.
where athleisure was born.
Yeah.
You don't have to be an athlete to wear this. It's leisure wear.
Yeah.
Okay, but so what? Your whole point on air fryers was just to tell us that it's a convection oven.
That we've always had it. My whole point on air fryers is we've always had it.
Yeah.
And now we're like all like going gaga for an air fryer and it's been there the whole time.
Well, somebody
You just
like,
said going gaga, and earlier you mentioned A Star is Born, and I just made that connection. I thought that was
Yes,
great.
I know.
Was
I'm
that on-
already,
was that on
I'm already a
purpose?
star.
Yeah.
I'm born.
was that on purpose?
No.
Oh, okay. Well, I was
Yes.
trying to give you. It,
No.
it was. It was totally. Subconsciously, it was.
I think so.
All right. So,
Because I have a lot of times the paparazzi are after me with my modeling career.
oh
Okay, well-
brother,
This is amazing.
this
It's
is
so
This
good.
is insane. All right. So, getting back to, on topic here, when
we have
you're
a topic?
comfortableness, as Phil's mother-in-law would say, when you're comfortable again with that new thing. So now you've gone to the location and you're comfortable. You've done your 5th or 6th
Vacation.
bodybuilding. I can't even say it out loud. And then, or you've done your 10th rock concert or whatever, and you're comfortable. What next? Do you push yourself within that same thing, or do you look to other places? I guess what I'm saying is, can you do this in different areas and try to draw off those experiences to help you in other areas, or is it just kind of like in that vertical, you're just getting comfortable there?
I've got a thought.
Please.
So one thing that happened with my progression in music performance was just like supreme confidence. A lot of what happened with me is like you get comfortable, you're fine playing a show, but then you start comparing yourself to all the other acts or all the other singers or guitar players or whatever it is. and like the self-confidence starts to disappear again, even though you've, proven yourself, or, you've written your song, you've done this thing. And I remember one day I kind of was getting ready for a show, and I'm sitting there thinking like, gosh, this guy's so much better than me. And I kind of slapped myself figuratively, just in my own mind. I'm like, what the heck is your problem? Like, you get up there and you do you. And so what I started doing to kind of snap out of it for future performances is I would set up this like scenario, positive thought process in my head. So in my scenario, I was the world's greatest guitar player, unnamed.
Okay.
Better than Steve Vai, better than Stevie Ray Vaughan. Like, I was the world's greatest, right? Whether that was true or not, which obviously wasn't, but like in
In your head it was.
in my mind, I'm like, here's the premise, I'm going with this. And it's funny when you pretend that way, your demeanor kind of changes. So I would get out, we'd play halfway through our first song, and I'm like jumping to the front of the stage. I'm like looking at people in the audience. I'm like, yeah, you see that guitar, And I'm like, I'm so overconfident, it's like laughable. But you look out and everybody's having a stinking great time because they're
all
like,
drunk.
this guy really is owning this. And I think there's something to it where you get comfortable, but then you try to take it a step further where you're like supremely comfortable, and then I dare say confident in what you're doing. Then other people can start having a good time.
Isn't that like psyching yourself out
Yeah.
or up? Or
Instead of just you, it's
hype?
like then it overflows out of you into the people that you're presenting to. And I think that can have some very positive value.
Awesome. I like that. It's
positivity and negativity are all very contagious.
right. Oh, that's
Very.
very deep. I should write that down. I really
Phil was
should.
going to start a page where I tell him to write stuff down.
You should have told me to write that down.
Write that down.
Okay. Hey, Phil, can you write that down? On
I
that
didn't
page?
hear it. And I don't have a pen.
Now we'll go back to the video and we'll hear what Paul said, and then
We won't write that down.
All right.
We will probably not write that down. All right. Any other food for thought before we get out of here? We are over halfway done with season 3 already, which is crazy. So
Wait,
I know
what was our contract for this year?
it was 9 episodes.
Wow.
So we're 4.5 in. So
We're 4 net.
How?
What?
well, we're 4 in. Oh shoot, it'd be like halfway through the night.
Playing the exit music.
There goes
That
that
is my-
math again. All right. Well, until next time, you can always find us at provitaspromo.com.